I'm feeling a little girly, so I'm going to read a story about fairies. Okay, so I opened... My sister gave me this back. Apparently, I left it for a few years at her house. Forgot I even had it, so... I'm also going to mention that I waited until my makeup was on today because I did show my mom a bit of my video of me before I got into the tub, and the first thing that she said is, "Oh my god, you know, you should put a little makeup on those eye bags. What if there's a man out there that, you know, you're gonna end up marrying? You should have a little makeup on." So if my future husband is out there, well, I guess it's best that you saw me without my makeup so you know what you're getting yourself into. That's my opinion. My mother would say different, but we're allowed to have differences of opinion. But I'll put my makeup on today, so. Alright. So I'm going to read on Gwragedd. And the Gwragedd are Welsh water fairies, beautiful lake maidens who occasionally take mortals to be their husbands. One well-known legend tells of a young man who used to graze his cattle by a small lake near the Black Mountains. One day he saw a most enchanting creature rowing gently to and fro in a golden boat on the surface of the lake. He fell deeply in love with her and offered her some of the bread he had brought from home for his midday meal. She answered that the bread was too hard and disappeared into the depths. The young man's mother gave him some unbaked dough to take with him the next day, and he offered this to the fairy, but she answered that it was too soft and again disappeared. Ah, we've got a little Goldilocks story going on here, I think. On the third day, his mother gave him some lightly baked bread. His mommy's giving him his bread. Aw, he's still a bit young. He's naive. All right. And this past Munster, 3 figures rose from the lake. An old man with a beautiful daughter on either side of him. The girls were identical, and the father told the young farmer that he was willing to offer him the daughter with whom he was in love with, if he could point her out. The farmer would have given up in despair, but one slightly moved her foot, and he, recognizing her slipper, won her hand. She must have had bigger feet than the other girl. It's good to have good big feet. Keep your balance. The water fairy was given a fine dowry, and they lived happily ever after. Live together happily. Not happily ever after. However, the young farmer had been warned that he would lose his beautiful wife should he strike her 3 times causelessly. It so happened that, although they were indeed blissfully happy, Gwragedd had some curious fairy ways. She might weep at a wedding or laugh and sing at the funeral of a child, and this eventually led to her loving husband reproving her 3 times, more by a love tap than a blow, but this was enough, and she was forced to leave him. She did not forget her sons, however, and taught them many secrets of medicines, so that they became the famed physicians. So this is how the doctors were formed in the world, from the husband and the lake fairy. Okay, so there's one more. This is actually, I wasn't gonna go backwards, but let me show you this picture. This is actually the page I opened up to, and I was speaking about the rock walls. and the weird stuff and under people's homes, and there's a lot like that too, except they're not really one big rock. They're like a lot of perfectly structured rocks, but they kind of make a dome like that. And this is also Ireland, or Scotland. So we're along the lines with the dome and stuff. So let's continue, because this page that I opened up to, can I do it this way? The first thing is, in other days, every New Year's morning. And it's almost New Year's Eve. So this is very appropriate. Synchronicity is awesome! But I have to go back to this page to remember how this thing is pronounced. It's Gwragedd. So, the Gwragedd, in other days, every New Year's morning, a door was to be found open in a rock by a Welsh lake, and those who dared enter came upon a secret passage which led them to a small island in the middle of the lake. Here they found themselves in an exquisite garden inhabited by the Annwn, who feted their guests, pressing on them all manner of fruit and flowers and entertaining them with beautiful music. The fairies told their told their visitors many wondrous secrets and invited them to stay as long as they wished. However, they warned them that the island was a secret and nothing from it should be taken away. One day, it so happened that a visitor to the magic garden pocketed a flower he had been offered, thinking like a dumbass it would bring him luck. The moment the thief touched unhallowed land again, however, the flower vanished and he fell unconscious. Other guests to the enchanted land were bid farewell with their customary politeness, but since that day, the door to the beautiful garden has remained firmly closed. Can't get back into the secret garden again. See what happens when you're a thief. Fucking wreck that shit for everybody. Okay, that's my story time on Fairyland today. I was thinking maybe I would go a little more masculine later and pull a book that had to do on survival. Woohoo!